On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen and keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/Jack Welch MBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
If you went on a road trip and you didn't stop for a Big Mac or drop a crispy fry between the car seats or use your McDonald's bag as a placemat, then that wasn't a road trip. It was just a really long drive. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Psst, your payments are showing. But with Apple Cash, your payments are private by design. There are no public feeds. Send and receive money privately, in messages or with Tap to Cash. Switch to Apple Cash. Apple Cash services are provided by Green Dot Bank, member FDIC.
Hey business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 110,000 bonus miles for a limited time through July 16th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends 7/16/25.
Welcome to the HCI family of podcasts. We're your source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We share our own original research, explore industry trends, and interview executives and thought leaders from across the globe. Join us for practitioner-oriented content around all things leadership, HR, talent management, organizational development, and change management. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with the HCI family of podcasts. Simon T. Bailey, welcome to the conversation today.
So good to be with you. Thank you for having me.
It is great to be with you. You're joining us from Chicago. I'm south of Salt Lake City in Utah. And today we're going to be talking about discovering your purpose through resilience in leadership. You know, leadership is often a thankless gig. I was actually just having a conversation this morning with someone who was kind of frustrated, kind of blue this morning because of the challenges they were facing. And the reality is, often leadership really is just a thankless job. It's hard. You're bearing a lot of weight. People are coming at you all the time with their problems, with their challenges. You're trying to put out fires. And a lot of times, people are upset at you and you're just doing the best you can. And it's all about resilience. It's all about just staying with it and, the falling down and getting back up and all of those sorts of things, all those cliches, right? It's all about all of that. And leadership is hard, right? And that's why I think it's just so important that we always know our why, that we always have a clear purpose, and fostering that resilience within ourselves is really what's going to make us a great leader. So we're going to unpack all of this and talk about how that can help lead to our purpose as we have this conversation today. As we get started, I wanted to share Simon's bio with everybody. Simon T. Bailey is the world's leading expert in brilliance. His groundbreaking research, State of Working America report, Thriving in Resilience and Brilliance, solidifies his insights in his 11th book, Resilience at Work: How to Coach Yourself into a Thriving Future. With Disney Institute as his launchpad, he's left an incredible mark on 2,400 plus organizations in 54 countries, including American Express, Deloitte, Visa, Signet Jewelers, and Taco Bell. He has made a remarkable impact on over 120,000 professionals who've experienced his pioneering courses on the LinkedIn Learning platform. He's also been recognized as Success Magazine's top 25 alongside Brene Brown, Tony Robbins, and Oprah Winfrey, as well as being on LeaderHub's top 200 power list. His viral video released on Goldcast through Meta has over 91 million plus views to date. I could go on. There's just so many awesome things about you and your background, Simon, but I'm going to pause there. Anything you would like to highlight by way of your background or personal context before we launch on into the conversation?
The one thing, John, that I've learned is that real leadership is not about motivating or trying to engage people to do more. Real leadership is about inviting people on a journey to discover the leader within themselves while they're following you. So a leader can never take people to a place that they've not been themselves.
With a Venmo debit card, you can Venmo more than just your friends. You can use your balance in so many ways. You can Venmo everything. Need gas? You can Venmo this. How about snacks? You can Venmo that. Your favorite band's merch? You can Venmo this. Or their next show? You can Venmo that. Visit venmo.me/debit to learn more.
You can Venmo this, or you can Venmo that. You can Venmo this, or you can Venmo that. You can Venmo.
The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Card may be used everywhere MasterCard is accepted. Venmo purchase restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream house or ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at polestar.com.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so we often talk, people often are talking about how to motivate others, how to lead the horse to the trough, right? Or to go get the water. What you're saying is we can't actually motivate anybody. We can't actually lead someone to the water if they don't want to go or if they haven't ever been there themselves. And I wholeheartedly agree. We can't ever motivate somebody. All we can do is help them on the journey towards self-discovery, towards, where they can learn and uncover their own motivations. And then we can create an environment where they can have that self-motivation and where they can unlock their own key core motivations themselves. And that's what a leader does. That a leader creates that environment. A leader creates those kind of experiences where those things can be unlocked, where those things can be experienced, where people can come together, and then the synergies and the collaborations can happen that can really create really cool things, right?
Absolutely. And when a person knows that a leader gets them and cares about them, that person goes the extra step because they know that leader is about them and not just themselves.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as we get started, I would love if we could start by just unpacking a little bit of your research, State of Working America, Thriving in Resilience and Brilliance. Tell us a little bit about that. This comes out in your Resilience at Work book. What are some of these core findings?
55% of working Americans would rather take a lower paying job to work for a leader that inspired their brilliance instead of one that doesn't. 74% of working Americans would prefer to work for a leader who had no advanced degrees instead of a leader that had formal education. And what we begin to discover in the research, John, is that people want to work in an environment and for a leader where they are celebrated rather than tolerated. And what that simply means, and I'll use myself as an example. So I was working at Disney, John, and I was a jerk of a boss. I was way over my skis. I was a boss with an agenda instead of a leader with a vision. And if the truth be told, Disney was about to invite me to find my happiness elsewhere because I had a need to control, a need to be right. And I was in my own way, had no self-awareness, had a lot of ego edging goodness out. And what I began to discover after organizational development did an intervention, and they took me through the tried and true start, stop, and continue. What they said is you manage up really well, but you don't care about your folks, and they know it. And so for almost 18 months, once a month, I had to go to Disney University to understand what it really meant to be a leader in the culture at that particular time. And three takeaways. Number one, if I don't look myself in the mirror and admit that I don't know what I don't know,
Mm.
then he's going to bounce me, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Number two, and I got this from one of my mentors, John Maxwell, is that consistency compounds over time. So consistent action behavior in the right direction. You're not phoning it in. People know that you are doing the work of leadership. They start to believe you and trust you. But then the third thing is always coming back to these two questions. Why you? Why now? Why should people follow you? Why right now? Because everybody is making a bet on you, on their career, on the organization. What is bet? Brilliance, energy, time. And sometimes they're going to hedge their bet if they think this leader is not really up to leading in the right way. But when they find a leader that gets it, oh my goodness, that's the unlock. People will go the extra step because they're like, okay, this is the one. This leader has found their inner Neo in the Matrix, and I want to follow
I like that. Yeah, I like that. And you're right. I mean, your experience at Disney, that's not an uncommon experience. I think especially for a lot of young, inexperienced leaders, oftentimes they're thrust into those roles. They don't know any better. They don't know how to lead. They've been successful in their careers up to that point for totally different reasons. Like they've been successful in sales or they've been successful in whatever functional role they've been in. Now they're thrust into a leadership role. They're expected to manage a team. They have no idea what they're doing. And all they can really do is try to mimic maybe what they've seen other people do, what they've seen on TV or in movies. And oftentimes that's not particularly healthy, or productive. And it's no wonder, like a lot of people just don't have the skill set. They just don't know what to do. And so you end up having a lot of people in those early stages in their career that do what you did. And it's, I have a lot of sympathy for that. Not that I want to have a lot of bad bosses out there, but I do have sympathy when people just don't know any better. And so, kudos to you for going through the work, of trying to learn and grow and figure out what you didn't know. And to, that's hard. That's hard to go through that self-reflection, to admit what you were doing wrong, and to admit, where there were gaps and all of that. That's painful. Especially, it's painful to the ego. It's painful, to know that maybe you were causing some harm to your people. But one of the key insights that you shared in that story that I think is really important to drill down on is is the care piece. Like
Yes.
it's great to be able to lead up. We need to be able to lead up, down, across. Like there's different kinds of leadership that, and all of those are important. But when we're talking about leading a team, we need to show that we care. Like they need to believe it. They need to know that we sincerely care about their growth and development. Not that we can motivate them. Like I cannot get people to do what they don't want to do. I mean, I suppose I can like, figuratively hold a gun to their head with like carrots and sticks and like threats of firing them and whatever. Like there are those types of things where I can like in the short term get someone to do something out of fear, but overall, like in the long term, I can't really get anyone to do anything unless I'm setting the stage for them to find the motivation within themselves. And that's going to be really hard to do if they don't feel like I genuinely care about them and that I genuinely want them to be successful and that I genuinely want them to develop and grow and be prepared for the next stage in their career. Those are all pretty basic human desires and needs that anyone wants in any relationship, whether it's a workplace relationship or a personal relationship or whatever. And so it's all built upon trust. And you can't have that trust if there's no like genuine sense of care, right? And so again, kudos to you for discovering that, for figuring that out, for going through the work of developing your skill set and your competencies around leadership. And just a call out to that for anyone listening, if you find yourself in that same boat, like where you find yourself in over your head a little bit, you find yourself despite your best intentions of maybe falling a little bit short, that's okay. Like that's normal. I think everyone finds themselves in that boat from time to time. And what matters more is that you're willing to do the work, that you're willing to try, and that you're willing to continue to press forward. That's really what resilience and leadership is all about. If we all just knew all the answers, if we all just were perfect, one, that would be kind of boring. A world where everyone was just perfect all the time. I don't want to live in that world. But two, we're human. Like that's just not reality. Like that's never going to be the way it is. And so, just set that aside. Like you don't need to feel bad about being imperfect. What you need to do is just recognize that yes, mistakes will happen. Always, they will happen. It's not a problem that they will happen. What's a problem is if you're unwilling to acknowledge them when they happen, if you're unwilling to grow from the things that you're learning about, right?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that our research really showed us as it relates to this concept of brilliance and resilience, here's the visual. In business, it's like surfing in the ocean. You get knocked off your surfboard because of uncertainty, everything happened in the economy. Your resilience gets you back on the surfboard, but it's your brilliance that allows you to catch the next wave. So we ask working Americans, how do they define brilliance? Which is just another way, John, of saying purpose. And working Americans told us that brilliance is creativity, confidence, and wait for it, intelligence. So, in other words, when people are in a caring environment and that leader cares about them as a human being, individuals actually practice AI, actual intelligence. They start to show up and go above and beyond because they have confidence in the resilient leader who understands who they are as a person. Now, how do you get there? It really comes down to have to versus want to. Do I have to lead or do I want to lead? And people know the distinction every single day. They're going through the file system, through the data in their mind to say, are they doing this because they have to do it? Or are they doing it because they want to do it? And that wanting to do it leader has made that emotional commitment to do three things, John. Number one, commit to coach, realize their attitude is key. And number three, how can I create an impact for this person? Because it's not about me, it's about we.
Yeah, I like that. When you first started to say that, my mind went to a slightly different place. Um, the reluctant leader, I actually really like. It's a different type of reluctant leader than I think what you were describing. So in my mind, I really admire the quote unquote reluctant leader, the person. It's not about them. It's not the arrogance. It's not the ego. They would be more than happy to be behind the scenes supporting other people. Um, those are the types of people I love it when they find themselves in leadership roles because it really isn't about them. It's just about them helping other people. But actually, I think that's exactly what you're describing.
Totally. Totally.
And it's not about the person who's like campaigning for the position. They're trying to like play the political games to try to maneuver themselves to get into the role, not because they, are trying to help others or care about other people or, whatever. It's just all about climbing that rung of the ladder so they can get to the next rung to the next rung. So someone who cares about the role, who wants to be in the role for those reasons, that's the kind of person that I'm not so interested in and as having as a leader. But I really like the person that, may not really care about the position otherwise. They might be the reluctant leader, but once they're in, they're invested. Once they're in, they're going to put their whole heart and soul into it because they know that what they're doing matters and that other people are relying on them and that their job is to help support those on their team. Like their job is to help lift up everyone that's working with them, right? Like a rising tide lifts all ships, and their job is to be that rising tide.
I would be so bold to say if you look at the reluctant leader, they probably have had more people be promoted out of their department into other areas of an
Right.
organization. Number one. Number two, they probably have higher customer satisfaction scores just because leaders create the experience for employees, employees create the experience for customers. But then number three, if you look at their financial performance inside an organization, their KPIs, all of the things that we know, that reluctant leader who has their head down to say, how do we do it right? And how do I empower people to go and do it? They make things happen. And there might be some correlation in how we think about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love that. So all of this, I think, as we talk about this resilience, as we talk about, the leader who's willing, recognizing sometimes it's a lonely road. It's a thankless road. It's a heavy weight to carry the burden of leadership. All of this is true, right? And so having resilience as a leader is very, very vital. I would say that's always the case, but especially like during the pandemic, I think we saw this as keenly as any time. Because everyone was dealing with mental health challenges, social isolation, all of that, but it was really put upon leaders to look out for their teams and look out for everyone else. But who was looking out for the leader, right? So it was just extra hard. It was extra challenging. Um, how does all of that then, if I'm someone who's in a leadership role, I'm trying to practice resilience. How can that help me discover and lean into my purpose?
Wow. Well, the first thing is being intentional about self-reflection. Self-reflection is something that I learned from Harry Kramer, former chairman and CEO of Baxter Healthcare. I was interviewing him for a client virtually, and I said, Harry, in your 40-year career, what is the one thing that has allowed you to tap into your purpose? And he said, Simon, I ask myself three questions every single night before my head hits the pillow. Question number one, how did I make a difference today? Question number two, how did I grow? And then question number three, how do I add value or make a difference tomorrow? And I said, Harry, you do it every day. He said, every day, because he said that self-reflection keeps my feet on the ground, keeps me in touch with what's really going on. And it's that self-assessment without the board, without the other C-suite executives weighing in, that allows him to say, okay, here's my true north. Here's kind of what's going on. So those listening to us, I think, John, if they will have a self-reflection practice, come up with those questions, but take it a step further. Just don't jot it down perhaps on your smartphone. Write it down. The power of therapeutic, writing it down, you stepping back, looking at what did I just write? It's that hand to heart connection that
Mm.
allows you to truly know where you are.
Yeah, I love that. The self-reflective piece, I think, is always powerful. It's always important in a lot of different facets of our life. But I think particularly when you're wrestling with leadership roles and leadership practice and learning and growing as a leader, practicing regular self-reflective practices, various mechanisms, um, keeping a journal, journaling and reflecting is always going to be powerful. I know personally, when I found myself in different leadership roles, I found an incredible amount of meaning and purpose through the personal growth that I have been able to see in myself and track over time.
Mm,
That resilience that I've been able to see, and sometimes it's hard to see in the short term.
yeah,
It's kind of like, you know, if you're like trying to lose weight, like you're exercising, you're trying to lose weight, like you're slowly building some muscle mass and you're losing some weight.
yeah.
The day to day, you don't see it, right?
Uh, uh,
But 6 months or a year down the road, you
mhm,
look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I lost 20 pounds and I put on some muscle, and you compare a picture from 6 months ago to 6 months down the road, and you're like, oh, that's actually quite a bit of difference. It's
mhm,
kind of the same thing when you're like tracking yourself slowly over time as a leader. You may not notice everything over time and in little increments, but if so I'm a big advocate for not only reflecting consistently, but take time to kind of do the meta reflections where you go
yeah.
back and look at yourself and track yourself over the months and even the years, and see where you were and see where you've come, because that can be super powerful. Um, and quite invigorating to realize, like, oh, I've grown a lot as a person. I've grown a lot as a leader. You might also cringe a bit. You might cringe when you realize, oh my gosh, I can't believe I
Sure.
did that. I can't believe that's how I responded in that situation. But it also shows growth. It shows your humanity. It shows your growth. It shows that, you're on the right track, and that's a powerful motivator. That's a powerful thing. That's a powerful purpose. I've felt that, and I think others can too.
What you've articulated is resilience is really a muscle, and resilience creates character development, to your point, personal development. And as you know, character development happens when no one is looking. It's the
Mm.
little things that make a difference every single day, or we could say a little becomes a lot over a long period of time.
Well, Simon, this has just been a real pleasure. I know at the time I need to let you go here in just a minute, but before we wrap things up for today, I wanted to give you a chance to share with the audience how they can connect with you, find out more about your work, your team, and then give us the final word on the topic for today.
Sure. You can go to simontbailey.com, in LinkedIn, Simon T. Bailey. And I would just say, wherever you are in the world right now, find somebody to care about them, not for what you can get from them, but what
Mm.
you can give to them. And what you'll discover is the helper's high. There's research out of Emory University that says when you help someone else, the reward centers in our brain begin to light up, almost as if we have been on the receiving end of the person we've just helped. And John, they call it the helper's high. So if you want to
I
be
love
a
it.
leader, let's get high together.
I love it. One of the best highs you can have, right?
Yes.
Very good. Well, Simon, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. I encourage the audience to reach out, get connected, find out more about what Simon can do for you. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the podcast. We hope you stay healthy and safe, and please join us again soon.